Hi, I'm Baron Arianne de Chateaumichel from the beautiful kingdom of Trimaris, and today my student Lady Ekaterina Cilicia and I will be showing you how to create your own fitted French Côtehardie with the help of her husband Jorgen Klaus, who will be operating the camera. Hi Jorgen! Okay, so now we're looking at a few variations on the Côtehardie. She went too far there. Here you have an Italian one from 1380. You see the Virgin Mary in a very simple long sleeves. It looks like she's got some gold around there. This picture is unfortunately black and white, but it's French 1370. You can see the horizontal necklines on the ladies and the tippets hanging down. A bunch of men about the same time. Doesn't help us with the ladies' clothing. No. Peasants, at least a noble's idea of what a peasant dressed like. 15th century middle class, if not peasants. A queen, 1410. So we're starting to get into the changes that developed into the houppelande, yes. But it still basically is a Côtehardie at this point. It looks like her hanging sleeves are fur-lined ones,
yeah,
but go all the way down to the ground. Looks like she's got some extra big bling around her neckline. Italian 1380, you can see straight sleeves, three-quarter sleeves, or pushed back sleeves. Also the same. And that one is 1480, but she's weird.
Yeah.
And you have Côtehardie type undergowns worn under sideless surcoats, 1388. Those ladies have an incredible amount of puddle in front. Almost makes it look like they're kneeling, except the dimensions are off.
Yeah.
And that gets us into full-on houppelande era. This, absolutely love the Très. And this is my go-to portrait for that style. I've done this outfit. I want to do this outfit. Might do that one at some point. And this is still a straight up Côtehardie with the tippets and everything. This is a Côtehardie houppelande crossover hybrid.
Yeah.
And then this lady in orange and the mother in black are wearing full-on houppelans. So the Côtehardie stuck around for a bit.
For a while, yeah.
Of course, it was very, very elegant. That's a close-up of the bridal or engagement party. Côtehardie neckline on what's essentially a houppelande. That's one of those hybrids.
Yeah.
And everything else is houppelande. Those are those peasants that we looked at earlier.
Kind of like the peasants better.
And she's wearing definitely a Côtehardie.
Yeah.
With, it looks like her sleeves are pushed back. You can see bunching there. And she doesn't have tippets.
No.
But she's definitely got another gown underneath. And you can see the massive support she's got.
Right. It's almost like a corset.
Well, you'll see how we get that. And I think those are all of our most useful portraits in here. Yeah. So we're going to look at some fabrics that we have on hand. And when I do the bride's gown, this is going to be the combination. The undergown, the sorquini, and the Côtehardie Houppelande hybrid. But for most of the 14th and 15th century outfits, heraldic colors were very, very fashionable and were widely used, even though they weren't the only thing being used.
Right.
So you decided on red and blue,
Yes.
and red is your undergown, and blue is your overgown. Okay. So we're going to have fun laying this out. Alright, first we're going to start with a page of math. And we're getting the numbers for the math. You need to find out your dimensions because otherwise the process is going to be a little bit more complex. I prefer metric. I do have instructions for the English system if you want to be old-fashioned. Eventually I will have instructions for using L's and such, and then I'll drop the English altogether.
Yay!
Alright. When you're taking measurements, you want your measuring tape to be level. And don't squeeze, don't suck it in.
Nope.
Also, don't have a lot of excess, because you'll just be cutting it away. For the first one, you need to write down 130. Yes, you can put your arms down.
Okay.
And write 130 right there. Okay, now this is probably the most important dimension in the whole thing, because to have proper fitted French Côtehardie, you need to be able to support the bust. This is a garment that is worn without a bra. In fact, if you give it the proper flat neckline, you can't wear a regular bra. Alright, 108. Waist. 113. Bicep. Now you want to do this with your dominant arm because chances are that's the more muscular one. Yes, and you want to make a muscle. You are Superman. You are
Superman. Wonder Woman.
Whichever. And measure at the meatiest part while making a muscle. 38. Okay, now your next measurement is going to be the elbow, also for your dominant arm. And you want to make a muscle because you want to be able to bend your arm.
Got it. True.
Otherwise, you know those sleeves that cut off circulation
yes.
when you try? Those are such a headache.
Yes.
30. Forearm. Okay, you're also making a muscle because you want it to fit. You want everything to fit. 30.
Amazing.
Now your wrist, because you want this to be relatively form-fitting. 18. And now, if you're doing a goblet cuff, which I think are just incredible, and they're great when it's cold, you want to have it flare over your hand. So exactly that relaxed position. You want to have enough room. 25. Okay, next, we're going to measure down from the base of your neck. And if anyone watching this has not done this type of thing before, if you lean forward like Katrina is, not quite that far.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
just your head, it's not your body.
Right.
Yeah. One of your vertebrae will stand out from the others. And that's the point that you're measuring from. So from there, we can measure down And the bust is at 27. Write that one right there. And bra band, I measured to the bottom of the bra band, is 28.
Here.
Neck to waist. Usually your clothes kind of catch right there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a really obvious line. 41. And now we're measuring out to the point of your shoulder. Oh, you're standing
Sorry.
on it. Yeah. That happens. Arm down.
Okay.
If your arm is down and your posture is good, the point of your shoulder is where it goes from kind of horizontal to pretty much vertical. And you're looking at 25. So that one is that line right there. Now we measure over the point of the shoulder and down to where we measured for the bicep,
Got it.
and that is 40.
That's this one here.
Yes. And then we measure to the back of the elbow. And you can even straighten your elbow so that it stands out more.
Got it.
We're looking at 56. Now with your arm, you want it mostly straight, comfortably straight. Hold it right there and kind of rotate. And look for where the bone stands out on the wrist. Just past that is where we want to put our wrist measurement, which is 80.
Okay.
So, oops, with this one right here.
Okay.
I skipped one. I skipped measuring to the forearm,
Okay.
which is 61. And then to cuff, stop right there. And if I'm doing a cuff, I'm going to do it all the way.
Right.
So I measured to about where the pinky knuckle is,
Okay.
and that is 86.
Okay.
Okay, now turn and face me. Now, from this little divot in your neck, we're going to measure down over your curves to the floor. 144. So that goes on number 18. And this worksheet is on my website, which will be linked to in the comments. Okay. And the côtelage, the French Côtehardie's décolletage was not extreme. I'll show mine later. The look was achieved not by taking the neckline down, but by raising the bust up. So, on my pattern, which I'll pull out when we get to that stage, there's literally only about that much distance between the back and the front.
Okay.
And everything
is just
happens in that distance. So, my general suggestion is 3 to 5 centimeters for your décolletage. Honestly, the bigger your bust is, the smaller I would suggest this number so that you have enough support.
Got it. Okay.
So you can pick your number, or we can discuss that later
We can
when
discuss
we're
it. Yeah.
laying it out.
Let me see. Yeah.
Okay. Now for sleeve type, I have some examples on the last page of my handout. Not many, I have more of them on my Pinterest page. But I've got April from the Treverie. That's a rather late Côtehardie. It was starting to be replaced by the Houppelande, and
Got it.
the Houppelande Côtehardie crossbreed, which I need to make one of those.
Yes.
This is another late one, but there are early ones on my Pinterest page. These are just You can see two examples of the sleeve here. This one from the Très Riche has a white band and then a white strip of fabric.
I saw it, yeah.
Presumably fabric, maybe fur, but this is Florida. I'm going with fabric.
Yes.
And Christine de Pizan, a little bit earlier, she has, I call it the self sleeve. Basically, the fabric from this sleeve continues long enough that if you could close it up, it would be a sleeve. But it looks flat and it's edged or probably trimmed with fur. I need to make one of those for Beaufort.
Yes.
And her undergown sleeve sticks out from underneath that. And then you have the English version, which they just did long sleeves all the way.
Okay.
The Italians did a simple sleeve that looks like about 3/4, although it also looks like it was pushed up some, so it might have been longer.
Might have been longer and pushed up.
And there are a couple Austrian pictures with the angel sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about Austrian fashions. I don't know enough about it to know whether that was a late evolution that had to do with the houppelon,
Right.
or whether that was the way the Austrians wanted their
That does sound
cotillions.
very houppelon.
Yes. So,
A transition.
yes. We will figure out what kind of sleeve Ekaterina wants, and you'll figure out for yourself what kind you want. And then the fun multiple choice thing, the length of your train. I have a Côtehardie with a train that is a full meter long,
Oh my.
and that is if it went straight down and then hit the ground and turned straight out, the part that would be on the ground would be a full meter
4
long.
meter long.
So when I'm wearing it, it looks like it's what, 2 meters long?
Yes.
I have worn that in court and backed up without stepping on it by doing the pavane step
Okay.
that I'm doing right now and you
Right.
can't see.
Yeah. Just kind of slide. Yes.
For an undergown, which every Côtehardie had an undergown to it, whether you saw it or not. For the undergown, I would suggest minimal train, just enough to pull it out from under your feet. For the Côtehardie, if you're doing full court, you need a
You
train.
need a train. I don't know if I want a full meter.
Do a half meter, it'll look like a meter.
That's not exactly.
Okay. So Ekaterina will figure that out while she does her mathematics, because I make assignments.
Okay.
And
Math time.
pull up a chair, do your math.
Yes, Mom.
So Ekaterina has been doing her math like a good student.
Thank you.
And she has a question on number 13,
Yes.
because there are 2 parts to number 13. You're supposed to take the measurement from neck to bicep. She did that. Add 1.6 centimeters, basically 1 seam allowance.
Right.
And that's the first number that you start with. Then, if you're piecing the sleeve above the bicep, you subtract whatever your number is for number 12, which makes it a little bit more complex. But the reason for that is because we have options with our sleeves.
Yes.
Now, when I first started making Côtehardies, I looked at that. I looked at the pictures and went, the neckline comes out to here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have little wispy bits of fabric trying to hold themselves together. Let's skip having a shoulder seam at all. Let's
Okay.
cut it in one piece.
Okay.
And that still makes a whole lot of sense with the Côtehardie, because at least with the tippet type sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
you have a very short sleeve, just comes to here.
Okay.
You know, your fabric's probably wide enough to incorporate that. And you're not going to have any little wispy fabric ends trying to hold themselves together.
Got it.
And while supporting,
Right, it needs to support.
yes. But if you're doing the undergown, you're going to have sleeves out to here or
Yes.
here. which means that's maybe not the best idea, especially since you probably want your buttons to come along this line
Okay.
instead of this line.
That's true, because you can, yes, that would be very
Right.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it just looks better.
It does.
So, wait. You can drop the seam just a little bit so that, yes, my neckline comes out to here, but my shoulder seam is here.
Okay.
And that little bit, well, I still have little threads from when I took the Côtehardie's
Okay.
sleeves off of it.
So there's a
Because-
little,
Yeah.
I see.
Yes, there's just a seam right there.
Right.
And that allows you to rotate the sleeve seam to about midway up the back.
Okay.
So you probably want to do that with your undergown
Okay.
or with your overgown if you're doing English sleeves.
Which I probably will.
With a name like a Katarina?
I know, but it sounds easier.
6 of 1.
I know.
Personally, I would look up what you would be wearing in
Which is probably more
Silesia.
Austrian.
Or completely different.
Yeah.
It would be fun to.
It would be.
Yes. So personally, I would recommend that you go through and subtract 25 from all
Okay.
those numbers
All right.
so that you have that option later and don't have to get your calculator back out. And then we'll move on to number 18, which you had another question for.
Yes. So we'll skip right to 18. I will do the math
Okay.
for those later. So the
Okay.
number 18, distance from neck to floor at front.
Right.
At hem
Which is
allowance.
that number.
Right.
Hem
which is
allowance is the
44,
10 centimeters that I put in,
plus the 10 centimeters.
and optional puddle.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then, yes. How do
In
I-
a lot of the artwork, you see the ladies standing around, and there is fabric in front of their feet, like a short front mini train. And, you know, if you're graceful enough, you can deal with that, at least for your court gown.
Right.
Use the pavane step to push the fabric out of your way, and just amaze people.
Okay.
Or do what they do in some other pictures and lift your skirt up elegantly.
Elegantly.
Take on that gothic sway and just look like you stepped out of it. But
Yes.
anyway, the
Okay.
question is, how far
How
out there
far,
do you
yes.
want to be?
So he says 20 to 80 centimeters.
Right.
I'm not sure if
20 is
I want
basically the
80.
minimum for
Okay.
a puddle. 80 is what a lot of those puddles look more like.
Okay. So I'm
Um,
going to go halfway there. Let's do 50.
and I would also recommend that you not do a puddle on your undergown.
Okay.
Just
Just on the,
the overgown,
Overgown, okay.
and just the one that you're wearing to court.
right.
So, yeah. Put in the amount of puddle that you want
So now I have
and
to,
figure out what that
Okay.
adds up to.
$204.
Okay.
Okay.
So now, do we have any more questions before? For now?
No, I
Okay.
think that looks good so far.
So we'll cut this now and get back to it when we get back to it.
Thank you.
All right, so we are back after Katerina finished her math assignment. And our next step is going to be plotting out your pattern, which means we're moving on to geometry class.
Yay.
I hope you did well in geometry.
Decent.
This is pretty simple.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm lining the
Lining up.
paper edge up with one of these lines on my handy dandy cardboard. If you haven't got one, get one. Now, you can use any kind of paper for this. When I first made my first one, I actually used newspaper that was already cut out and I taped it together.
That's what I
It was
do.
a headache.
Yes.
Because it was the biggest thing I had ever done a pattern for. But it's a whole lot easier to use a roll of newspaper. Or
Maybe
Christmas
craft.
paper, craft paper, butcher paper, whatever. Whatever you have access to. And now we are making a line. I made the tape and the pen. We are making a line 5 or 6 inches, or yeah, 5 inches, 15, and 13 to 15 centimeters, something like that, in from the one edge. And that is going to be, let's see, I'm going to use that line here, which is why I'm going to do it in inches, even though they're outdated, but not outdated enough to be cool. And line that up. Now I'm going to have you mark a line
Right here?
all the way down.
Okay.
Actually, start here. In fact, some Christmas papers you can get already have the craft.
Yes, they do. I use them.
It might be a relatively expensive way to get your pattern paper, but it works. Now, there's my end. That's good, and that's lined up. Good. That's good. Okay, so mark it. This is going to be your baseline.
All the way to the end?
All the way to the end. We are actually going to go beyond what I've got unrolled right now, but not yet. Now, take your paper, and I'll need a pen, because our mark down here is going to be your full frontal length. What is that number?
From the floor front? This
Yes,
one? 204.
Now, oh, shoot. How far up is without the puddle? No,
Oh, okay.
minus the 50.
140, well,
154.
154 it would be.
Okay, except measuring it from here. Quick and easy way to get that without worrying about being
154.
being correct. So there's 204.
You want to hold it there?
Yes. And 154 is
Right there.
here. There. Okay. So now you have your no puddle length and you have your court length puddle length.
Right.
Okay. And now measuring up from there, we need to find where our shoulder line is because, like I said, this is geometry. This is our x-axis. We need to find out where to put the 0 for our y-axis. Okay. So completely all the way up to where it gets difficult takes us to 40 centimeters.
And what number on the sheet is that? Question.
It's not one.
It's
It's
not
just
one. Okay.
that's how far up we could roll it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
40 centimeters beyond that point
Okay.
is where we put, where we find 0, and that's where your y-axis goes. So we're going to gently roll that down here.
The whole thing?
Yeah. I'm going to roll this up a bit because we don't need it.
Nope.
Take the whole thing. We're going to unroll it as much as we can. Just like that.
Okay.
Okay. And we might as well do further. There. And straighten it up so the
Yeah.
wrinkles go away.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, and there's a trick when you're measuring to a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
give a bit of distance.
Okay.
So you can, like I'm measuring 5 inches in,
Okay.
but 5 inches, if I put it like this,
Mm-hmm.
would mean, okay, where exactly is that going?
Right, but
If I move it over the
one
next
inch,
major
right, then you can
line,
just adjust.
then that
Perfect.
is no longer a problem.
No.
And now, that is a little too far out from the other mark.
Yeah.
So, we'll mark it here.
One more mark. There we go.
There.
Okay. Give us a midpoint.
Yes. Now, we can, here, I'll give that back to you.
Okay.
There. Oops, hold on. No, hold it. There. Now it should be lined up properly.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a heavy line, it just needs to be something that we can follow.
Just in case I missed some design. Okay. To this line? To this.
Okay. And that should be far enough to get us to our y-axis.
Okay.
So, put a mark right there. And on the other side
And on the
too.
other side too.
Now, it's already lined up with this graph line here. Which is one of the very cool things about this graphing
Yes.
cardboard. Even though they designed it for quilters.
Good.
That's good.
All right. Go from here all the way.
Yes. Now, before you do a whole lot more, I like to put a big fat F for front there, and a
Okay.
big B there,
Perfect.
just
Makes
in
sense.
case it gets stressful. And okay, which am I working on right now?
Right, front or back?
Yes. Now the back is not a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do the pattern down to about here,
Mm-hmm.
it's just copy it from the front on the side, and okay, we're going off at an angle in the back.
Got it.
Okay. But you have a lot of graphing to do on this one.
Okay.
And we're going to need your measurements.
Yes, we do.
How far down did you decide that you want your décollage?
Oh, I was thinking between
So,
those two.
4?
Yeah, not too low,
Okay.
but not not stifled.
It will look a lot lower than it is.
Oh, okay.
And just going to go down 2 in the back. Now, shoulder point. Neck to point of shoulder, 25. Okay. Now, one problem that a lot of people have when they're trying to put together a Côtehardie type gown, or 16th century where it goes off the shoulder, is they take it out too far. And they have nothing supporting it, so it goes down.
We don't want that.
That is just
So, yeah.
so far be it from me, but but if you take it just barely out there,
Right,
and you make sure that this bone right here from the shoulder is covered,
right. This will support it on.
yes,
Okay.
you can wear it all day, even if you're like
me.
and it will stay up. And
Okay.
people will go, oh my goodness, how did you do that? Ta-da! And that is
This
the
is
magic.
how. Okay.
Yes. So 25 means that we're making a mark
Yeah.
right there. Now, I will have to check. Okay, this is the cover this area. That's your magic.
Okay.
Now, I forget whether I put it in there or not, but you want to make sure that you have a seam allowance there, because you're going to be hemming it in one way or another.
Actually, I don't think there is.
Ooh.
It says neck to point of shoulder.
Okay. So put in minus 1.23. Yeah, because I will need to fix that. Yeah. Okay. So this line here is where you actually want to cut on your shoulder,
Okay. And then there's the seam lines.
so that it just barely comes out to the 25.
Got it.
And you know how the human body is built so that the neck goes forward?
Yeah.
It's placed forward of the shoulder line and it goes forward.
Okay.
So because of that, that's why we just went down 2 centimeters in the back and we're going down 4 in the front.
4 in the front. Okay.
Yes. So it's actually,
So we have to.
our widest point is going to be 1 centimeter forward of this. So we can
Okay.
right about there.
And that's where.
Yeah. So
I see.
very, very skinny.
Do you want to use this one instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gauging the distance by eye. But
Follow the line here.
yeah.
That's good. Yep.
And so we're making a
This
U,
one a U.
parabola. If you know your geometric
Right.
terms.
This.
I actually want to make my parabola a little bit wider there
Got
so
it.
that it looks right. There's a whole lot of looks right involved.
Looks right in this.
Which means that it's an art and not a science.
Right.
But it's based on the science.
It's based on the science, roughly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that looks. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll pretty that up when we cut it. And then we need to mark everything else.
Okay.
Now, pretty much all of the graphing work is going to be in this quadrant,
Got it.
where we have positive numbers on both the x and y axis. So, give me,
Which number?
first I need the distances down, so 9 through 16.
Okay. So 29.5 for neck to bust.
Okay.
From front cleft.
Okay.
Okay.
And, oh no,
No.
that was, no.
Okay.
We didn't measure from the front, which is something that you kind of need to do when you're measuring yourself.
Okay.
So we just need that number over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The 27.
Yes.
Okay.
And that explains why I suddenly had.
Okay. Because that was plus 2.5 measure
Yeah.
from cleft. Okay, got it.
And then 28
And then
is
28
the
That's
underbust.
the underbust.
And then waist is at
41.
41. So 40 was almost an important number.
Yeah.
And then that was the end going down, because at this point you just want fullness, as much fullness as you can
Right.
afford.
So that's just from there.
So, I'm actually going to put it on that
Okay, on
side
this side.
so I can do the measurements more easily. So what's our next one?
Neck to point of shoulder.
We got that.
Okay. Then there's neck to bicep.
Okay. And let's
Did
see.
you want the minus number 12 or before that?
Well, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a shoulder seam or not? Personally, I would recommend that your pattern have the shoulder seam, because it's really easy to
Okay.
just continue things.
Then that works.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so we don't actually need to take it out. So, our next one is going to be to the seam, basically.
Okay.
Which, remember what I said about not wanting little wispy ends of fabric
Right,
holding
fabric,
things down?
right.
Yes. So you're actually going to want to make sure that you have a minimum of 3 centimeters
Okay.
between one side and the other. Now, that's 2.
So point of shoulder 25, and you have 3 more? Okay.
And basically think about it this way. Your seam for attaching the sleeve
Mm-hmm.
is going to be
Yeah.
1.3 centimeters.
Okay.
And your seam for finishing off
Finishing
your
the collar.
your opening
Opening.
to the neck is going to be about the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a little bit of fabric in between there,
right.
so you don't have the 2 seams right up against each
No,
other.
you don't want that. So
So this looks good.
that looks good. Okay.
And you want to mark someplace that you put that at 28.
Okay, Drew. Sleeve or
Right.
seam? Okay.
That's the seam. That's the raw edge of the seam.
Mm-hmm.
So your actual measurement is
It's
here.
right there. Okay.
Yes. Another thing I need to adjust with
Mhm.
this. Okay. So minus 12 and minus whatever the distance is that you choose.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to set the distance at 1 centimeter.
That sounds good.
And I will change that on the handout. So you're subtracting whatever your number is for number 12
Okay.
and an additional 1 centimeter.
Okay.
So that way your sleeves are the right length.
Yay.
Oh, I know why I didn't when I was setting up. It's not a problem to have just a little bit of extra length in your sleeve.
Right.
And it's actually kind of a good thing because otherwise you might have a little too little
Yeah.
length.
You don't want too little,
So,
so don't have too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that 1 centimeter is
Okay.
basically built-in ease, and I'm glad I remembered that.
Yes.
Before we wonder what was wrong, why are my sleeves not quite as comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, so
Good.
that makes sense. Glad we
Okay.
went through that. Okay, and that's everything we're doing now on
Mhm.
that. Now, we are taking our marks from the x-axis
Okay.
up onto the y-axis. So for the bust, I'm going to have you mark these.
Okay.
So I guess I'll read
You
them.
read them? Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to line things up so that is, yes. Okay, so for the bust, it looks like 32.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is your line.
But
this is
use
your
the measurement, I was going to say.
Yes.
Okay.
You just run a nice
So
solid
32.5,
measurement.
which
Yes.
would be right there.
Yes. And you just need a dot, you don't need
Okay,
the
that's
line.
what I did. Okay.
Yes. This was to make sure that, you
Yeah.
know, it didn't get wonky.
Right.
When I'm doing this
Okay.
in a class,
Mm-hmm.
I tell people rounding is your friend.
Yes, it is.
Round to whole or half numbers. Anything smaller than that is more detailed than you're really going to care about.
Right. Round up.
If in doubt, round up.
Exactly.
Definitely round to the nearest whole or
Only
half number.
Okay. So this one we're not going to be using. This is the one we're using.
Yeah, so put an X over that.
And this one?
No, this
No?
is your underbust.
That
This
is
your
oh,
bust.
okay.
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 So our next one, the waist. Okay. The waist. Oops. Messed it up.
32.0.
Okay, now I'll pull this that way. Round it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing this like the artwork,
Mm-hmm.
they have a whole lot of fullness starting, not even at the waist or the hips,
Okay.
it's starting up here.
Up
where
here?
your
Wow,
foot-
really?
Think about it.
Yeah.
These women spent half their adult lives pregnant. So I'm sorry, if I'm making a gown, I'm going to look good in it.
Right?
And I'm not going to have to put on some moo-moo
Right?
the half of my life that I'm
Mhm.
pregnant.
Right.
So the fullness starts right about here, which
Okay.
is right about where you need it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And then, you know, you can put on a belt, although they were less common on women than reenactors tend to prefer. But the
Like a belt
fullness
that can
looks-
hang things.
Yes. The fullness is very elegant,
Mhm.
and you can always lift your skirts and have them drape prettily.
Yes.
Show off the red of your undergown.
Yes.
So at this point, we are set with those.
Okay.
Just need to get
I'm standing on it.
those out of the way. And one of these, the bicep circumference. That one we do need, just to make sure that your arm side is big enough,
Mm-hmm.
because the bicep circumference is a good gauge for how big your arm side needs to be,
Okay.
without adding another measurement that you need to take.
Right.
Yeah. If you were doing something fitted, you would need the precise number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 21.5. So, marked it at 23.
So we go in back here.
Okay. Now, with smaller busted women, the arm side is further out than the bust.
Okay.
With larger busted women, you need a certain bit of magic that I do.
Okay.
Because we're going to cut it to have most of that, but we're going to be taking away a lot of that.
Okay.
And the reason is because we're going to put a lot of it right here.
Oh, okay.
So, don't mind getting too personal. What cup size are you?
Well, depends on the bra, but normally around a triple D.
Okay, you're not the biggest one I've ever done. I don't recall how much we gave her, but we'll take you out to here.
Okay.
And don't need to sketch that in. And I have a nice little stringage. Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of this is going to go away, but we're going to put it there to begin with.
Okay.
And with a smaller busted woman, I would, like for mine, is just about there.
Okay.
And the underbust, I
Right.
curve it like that.
Oh, okay.
For yours, well, we're going to be taking a lot of this away, but for now, it's
We'll
all
start
going
with
to
that.
be there.
Right. You can always take away.
Yes, it's very hard to put something back once
Yes.
it's already been cut off. Okay, so that is going to be our curve for that. And I'm not ready to mark that yet. So, you can do all sorts of complex arm size, but in all honesty, simpler is better. So, now, how full do you like your skirts?
I like it full.
Okay.
Not where I
Not
can't.
princess.
Not princess.
Well,
Full, but
the
elegant
Côtehardie
looking.
doesn't exactly have a support structure holding it out.
got it.
Otherwise, it would look like a lot of your traditional wedding gowns.
Right, right.
Um,
Something maneuverable.
okay. Well, it hangs down, and fullness is good. It allows for you to have those pretty pictures with your
Yes.
skirt up.
Right.
Now, what I tend to do on my patterns is I mark two different lines.
Okay.
One of them well outside of the waist and possibly the hip measurement if I'm worried about where her hips are. And that's for the undergown.
Okay.
The coat or the sorquini, depending on which term you use. The kirtle, if you insist on being English. And that's the line for that.
Okay.
And then
Ah, okay.
that's the line for your full court Côtehardie.
Got it. Much fuller.
Yes. The question is, how much fabric can I carry around
Yes.
to look graceful?
To look right.
So we will mark our sorquini line, and then we'll mark our Côtehardie line.
Okay. Much fuller.
Yeah.
Now, is it up higher then? Is it
Not much.
not much, just a
Maybe about half a centimeter,
Okay. There we go.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once I finesse this curve, it's going to look like it came in at the same place.
Okay.
Okay. Now, unless you have access to beautiful fabric that is wide enough for the full skirt, you're going to be adding gores, which are
Yes.
more accurately called godets.
Godets?
G-O-D-E-T.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A gore has 4 sides, a godet has 3.
Okay.
We
More
tend to use
triangular.
godets.
Got
Yes.
it. Yeah. That's what I tend to use more too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to find it really simple to add your godets over
Okay.
here and in the back and such. And it would be simple enough to add one in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be a very narrow pair of godets. And you'd have 2 extra seams there, right where people are looking.
Don't want that.
No, which is one of the reasons why we moved that in some. I need to see how long. Okay. Right about here is our midpoint. And right here is our midpoint. There.
There. Okay.
So back to
Then
the
you
geometry. Something that's longer than your measuring stick.
Right.
Because you want
Right to the
to
edge.
maximize your use of fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it on this side.
That side, yes, I agree.
Yes. Okay, thank you. There.
All right.
Fabric use
Wonderful.
is maximized
Yeah.
without needing to put a godet anywhere.
Woohoo! Very good.
And now we slide it back down because we need to mark the back. Like that, thank you. Now, don't need to do much on the back.
Right.
Basically, just where your lacing is. Now, what was the distance down for the bust? Distance is down like that.
Okay. Neck to point of shoulder, neck to bicep, neck to elbow, neck to forearm, neck to wrist, neck to cuff. Which one would
No.
it be?
Up here.
Okay, so
Neck
to bra.
bed.
Okay, 28.
And neck to bust. That's the
Okay,
one
that's
we're
only
looking for.
27.
Yes. So, right about in here, we need to have room for your shoulder blades.
Oh yeah, those things.
Unless you want to have to stand with your arms like this.
I can't move. Yeah.
I don't want to rip anything.
Right? Okay.
So, and it's not a whole lot of space. Basically,
I see.
just like that.
Okay.
And
So
then,
you don't feel like confined.
yes, just enough to give it a little bit of range of motion. Now, the distance down to the waist was
41.
41. Okay. So, we want the lacing to continue a bit past the waist.
Waist, that's what I was thinking.
Yes. In fact, this is going to come like so. Doesn't need to be an extreme angle, even on the Côtehardie.
Okay.
This little bit here is so that you can sew your facing or
facing,
your
got it.
lining to the outer layer.
Got it.
And then still be able to sew your seams, closing that up, so you don't feel
Little
like
eyelets.
going around in a doctor's outfit. There, that's good. Now the rest of the back will either be copied off the side
Right.
or, yes, I'm cheating and using something flexible because it's easier.
It's easier.
And let's see. I like to approach where I know I'm going to be piecing something and mark where
It will end.
yes,
Okay.
because this is so much easier to do, deal with adding your godet bits to it
Okay.
rather than trying to line up
With
points.
the point. Got it.
Much easier to line it up properly.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
I always end up matching points.
Yes, and then it doesn't
Doesn't
work.
work.
In any pattern, your weak spots are where you are going to have tears.
Okay.
And this is definitely a weak spot.
Okay.
So there are a couple things that you can do to eliminate that problem. First, I build a bridge.
Oh, okay.
This little strip of paper is not going to be cut out when we cut out the neckline.
Okay.
And because it's a narrow strip that's been reinforced,
Right.
it's not going to tear, but I'll be able to easily see where I need to cut on the fabric
Got it.
to make it work. And the other possible places where you're going to have tearing,
Yeah, I see that.
personally,
It's right at the.
I tend to go completely around
Shoulder
the
there.
neckline when I'm doing this one,
I believe that. Yeah.
even a little bit over, just to make sure that I get every last bit of that done. This is for that long straight
That long
bit.
straight bit. Yep.
Okay, so we have taped around the neckline and taped our bridge so that the front and the back don't tear apart.
Right.
Now we are ready for a fun stage.
Okay.
We are going to flip that over
Okay.
either
This way?
direction. Oops. And we are going to fold this back on itself.
Okay. Just wondering if you want to go the other way or this way. Okay.
This part, you need to roll that down.
Sorry.
Okay. So the whole idea is to have access to this line and line it right up on the line. As exactly as you can. A little bit of these on top there. That should do it.
Straighten this. There we go.
Okay. So there we are.
Okay.
And that will allow us to copy this front row onto the back.
Okay.
A little bit of trickiness. I'm going to do a little bit of magic that I came up with. 'Cause I like magic.
I like magic. Especially sewing magic.
So on either side of where we want to cut, we're going to put a little bit of tape. One of those we'll just throw away with the scrap piece of paper. The other one will split so that we can get the two layers apart.
Okay.
And I think you're better lined up for cutting along
That
this.
side, okay.
Alright, so this is our arm side, and this is the side seam. Right here is where we currently have the back, or where we currently have the Côtehardie starting to spread out. And at the same place, we'll start the Sorquini at a less extreme angle, so that you've got fullness, but not so much. And let's see. Over here, we have how that whole bust curve goes.
And this is the neckline. And this is taped all the way around to reinforce it.
And if you help me, we can open this up just a bit.
Okay, this will show the front and back.
This is that part of the shoulder that you really want to have covered so that your gown stays up. And this is where it flares out for the shoulders. That's the shoulder blade area. This is about the floating ribs. This is the waist. This is where it starts to flare out for the back and the train. We can just measure from here down to your back hem. You did mark how long you wanted your full train to be. Right?
Mm-hmm. We did, didn't we?
Well, it was one of those things that you were going to decide on, so I don't know how long you decided you wanted your full train.
I think I wrote, did I write it down here?
Half a meter?
Yeah. Optional puddle. So that's where the
Length
204.
of train.
Oh, that's not that. It's added. Okay.
Right. The puddle was the front.
Puddle was the front.
Right. The train is the back.
So
So look at number 18.
I know, I'm thinking, I'm reading.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 to 5, it's a meter, you said?
One of mine is.
Yes.
And it looks very medieval.
Walking through puddles.
Well, I can lift my skirts.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, holding your skirts bunched up like this is very, very medieval. You see it in lots of portraits.
Right.
In fact, there seems to have been a stylized way of doing it just so.
Just
that,
so.
yes. Very pretty.
Okay. I'm not going there just yet. I think I do half a meter.
Half a meter? it
Half a
is.
meter. Okay.
Okay. So,
So that we.
well, you
What do you
have
think?
half a meter for a puddle.
Okay. Oh,
So-
so maybe I should go with a full meter.
Maybe. At least on the version of the gown that you have the half meter puddle
Okay.
on, which is not your undergown.
Right.
So I would take this number,
Okay.
your finished number, and add your train length to that. So 204 plus half a meter. And
That's
that was
the
your
next
sleeve
one down
cut.
here. Okay,
This one right
here it
here.
is. Let's see. Half a meter from there.
Sure, this is the one that's got half a meter of puddle. And you don't ever have to read that full on extreme version. That's one thing I like about this pattern.
Right.
Because, oh, I don't want a half meter puddle on my Gold Force gown. Let me fold that up, make a crease, and I'm going off this other one.
Okay. So this isn't in centimeters. So that would be-
Right.
Okay. We did it.
Yes. Now you know how long you want your court
Wow.
gown. Yes. It's 6 yards, and that's without talking about the godets.
Right?
Oh,
Okay.
so now we measure down from this fold line right here.
Maybe I should go 30.
You can always take
Always
off,
take off. That's
but you
true.
can't add.
That's true. So might as well do it that way now. Okay. So
Flip it around.
yes.
So measuring down, I'll hold this.
You got that?
You mark how far down
Oh, we're nowhere near.
Oh, I know. So, hold on.
Okay.
And a good idea
Okay.
before you go unrolling it and having your
Right.
measurement. Yes.
So maybe
Take one of the lines
150.
like 150 and mark it.
There you go.
And
Okay.
that's not. It's the long line that goes all
Oh,
the way
yes, I see
across
that
this.
note.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes. In case that ever matters.
150.
Okay.
Okay.
And put an X over the other
Yes,
one.
I will.
Because when you're playing around with fabric at
Yes.
8 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
you don't want to have to figure out which
No.
spot you really meant.
Okay.
Alright. And now we can slide it up. And
That should be good.
enough.
Yeah.
If it isn't, it'll be close. So yeah, take it. There. No. And this one right
Yeah, I
there.
know.
Yeah. Okay, measure down the other 154. Or no, you went.
It would be
to-
100. It would be. Okay.
Your total number was 254.
That's so it's 104.
104. Okay.
Let's do a little more.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Not too bad. Okay.
254.
Okay.
All right.
And now, I'm gonna make a crease right there and lift that up and over.
Tighten it.
No, no,
No.
lift it up and
Oh,
over
okay.
because
Got
we're
it.
going to fold it right there
I
and
got
cut
it.
it. And that looks like an awful lot of fabric right here, but most of it is going to go away.
Yes.
We just don't know exactly how much yet, so we can't,
Right?
can't cut it on that line.
No. Right to there. You want me to cut straight out?
Further.
Or further? How far do you want me to go?
Far enough that you can just cut straight on here. All of this is right. Now, make sure when you get to that bridge
Right.
that you come straight up to it, stop, go
And go
across. Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll cut this out later.
All the way to this one?
All the way to that other line, yes.
Okay. If I cut this off?
Yes. Okay. And either now or later on, we can cut out this island
Here
here.
and there. So I'll continue here.
Yes. And you know which line to follow.
Yes.
No, the anymore.
It is, okay. I was going to, but I said maybe just in case, let me just.
Not a big difference.
No,
But
but-
hey, you might as well. I find it rather remarkable that approximately 200 years after the first truly fitted garment in Western Europe, or really anywhere, you have the epitome of the perfect fitted garment.
Right.
That was what fascinated me at first about the bolero.
Yeah.
Not just the way it looks, although it looks beautiful, but the fact that it was the first fitted garment, period.
Yeah.
Before that, if you wanted it tight, you belted it tight.
Right, right. Okay, so I'm gonna cut out the.
Cut out the island. And I find it useful.
So I was just gonna do that.
Oh,
Pinch it with-
I try to use this
Oh, okay.
because that way if I'm off,
Okay.
I'm not in an area that it's going to matter.
So this is gonna get all just
Yeah.
cut all the way here.
This is the shoulder
Okay.
line,
Right,
which
so
is
mine's
absolutely
already
not important.
folded right here. Thank you. And you can just cut from here then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what I like to do, instead of fighting to get up to the corner, is
Yeah.
I round it and then I go back.
Oh, okay.
And remember, we reinforce the whole
Yes.
neckline area with tape. So the pattern is not going to want to rip there.
Good. That makes total sense because I would be ripping it ridiculously right now.
Yes, it does not work out well if
No.
you're not careful. We went with the
Coming
outer
around.
one, yes.
Yeah.